Hey everybody, today I want to talk to you about my new favorite book, and I actually finished reading this about 2 weeks ago now and haven't talked about it yet because I needed to take some time to form my thoughts, gel my feelings, all that stuff. I actually did it as a buddy read with Tina from Lectito in Spain. I will link her channel below, and I had so much fun doing this with her as a buddy read. If you've not done a buddy read before, do it. There's so many different options for discussing it, whether you do it through Goodreads Messenger or you do it through Voxer. We had such a great time and I made a new friend. So that was really cool. Yeah. So my first experience with Voxer, and I've actually started using it in my personal life too. So there's that. Anyway, this is not a plug for Voxer. This is a plug for Grapes of Wrath by John Steinbeck. I knew I was going to love this book because of me falling in love with John Steinbeck last year. But this cemented everything I knew he could do in a book. I knew he was very possible. Seriously, so much love for this book. He has so much capability to form such strong arguments for what people are and aren't in like little teeny tiny novels. So I was curious to see what he would do in a bigger fat novel like this. And this was over, let's see, this one was 581 pages. And again, I've been trying to acquire old versions of Steinbeck because I feel like worn out Steinbeck books are just an homage to him. He was all about the commoner. And yeah, I just think somebody could have stuck this in their pocket, a very big, large Carhartt pocket maybe, and taken along with them. So I don't want to do too many spoilers as far as plot. However, I do want to talk to you about some of the main themes. So I might do a little bit at first, and then I will stop and tell you, if you have not read the book, to turn off the video and go read it, because this is just perfect. This is so, I loved this book. Okay. So if you are not familiar with the basic plot of Grapes of Wrath, it is set during the Dust Bowl when a lot of the United States was fleeing a barren land. There was no vegetation. There was dust settling everywhere. Nothing was growing. People were losing work. They just didn't know what to do. They weren't getting fed, and they were just exiting mass herds to go to California to try and get some work, some food, some anything, some new life. And this is about the Joads and some other people who join them in their company as they travel across the mid part of the United States to get to California with a very broken down car. And yeah, I've been toying with the idea. I took a selfie of myself after having finished this book. It is the most raw selfie I think I've ever seen. It looks like my best friend died in that picture because this book demolished me. At the same time, it gave me so much hope for community and people who are going through a struggle being able to come together to fight the powers that are trying to suppress them. So I really appreciated that about it. It talked to me, for me, the big part, some of you might have known from some of my other videos that I used to be a youth pastor. My faith is really important to me. And I've been through lots of changes on what I believe about things and about God and the universe and all that. This book was like Steinbeck reached into my faith journey, pulled it out, and then made beautiful prose out of it. It talks about how people are all good and bad and put together, and there's not really any good or bad particularly. It's just the things we do and our lives as being an act of worship. In some ways, it's not like overtly preachy or anything. I'm not saying that you would have to be a person of faith to read this by any means. I think that's what's lovely about it. But it talks about everybody belonging to one giant, great spirit. And if one person is harmed, then the whole spirit is harmed. And I love that so much because I truly do believe Mother Teresa's whole idea of if there's no peace, it's because we've forgotten that we belong to each other. this book reminds you that we all belong to each other. And I love that for that. He also, the way he talks about women as being kind of the last stronghold before everything breaks down. He's mentioned it in several of his other books, but I really, really felt he hammered it home in this one because Ma, yeah, she goes through what nobody should have to go through and sticks up on the side and says, no, I'm going to be able to make it, and I'm going to get my family through this, and it's going to suck, but we can do it. And she kind of also tries to impart that with how she treats other people in the communities that they come in contact with, as well as with her daughter, who is kind of struggling through a very difficult pregnancy and then labor at the end. And it spoke to me on so many feminist levels as far as what strong women look like and how we know we don't have the option of falling apart, because when women fall apart, well, it really is all over. So I loved that so much. Community as a strong base, especially for people who are being oppressed. It talks a lot about the wealthy kind of being the isolated, the not understanding, the not empathetic, and the poor you are. That's where you go for help, is the poor people. And I appreciate that quite a bit. The other thing, the things that I liked about it is just the idea of chosen family and how family does not have to be blood. Sometimes family is just the people you choose to go through the hard stuff with. That's how I live, and I love that about this. Land ownership also gets addressed in here. I started thinking a lot about what makes a connection to land. It used to be people planting on it and living there, and then it became who owns a piece of paper that says you own the land. Finally, the last thing that I really loved about it was the idea of police and fear being used to oppress people who didn't have options, and how when we give the rich too much power, they will slowly take any lasting bit of power away from those underneath them. And it spoke a lot to me about just the time we're living in now. So if you've not read Grapes of Wrath, go do it. Ma and Casey were my very favorite characters. I adored them. I would love to hear what your thoughts on it are. I think that's all I'm going to say on it. I might talk more into a different video talking about specific things that happened, but yes, it might destroy you, but it's totally worth it because it was beautiful. And yeah, I still don't know if I'm going to touch the picture selfie because it's really awful. I mean, really like tears all congested all over my chin, and my eyes are splotchy. Just imagine the rawest selfie ever. I don't know if I'm that brave to post it, but I definitely going to include it in my scrapbook because for the end of the year, because it's a moment I don't want to forget. I'll talk to you guys later. Bye.